Hello everyone, this is Chantal, and today we are going to do some fall cleanup and talk about 3 different reasons of why you would want to do fall cleanup, whether it's in your flower beds or in your vegetable gardens. So let's start. The first reason why you would want to do fall cleanup rather than spring cleanup is if you have plants that readily seed themselves and you want to prevent them from seeding themselves and spreading all over your garden. So right here I have yarrow, and this is a common yarrow, and it is full of seeds. I really should have cleaned this up earlier in the summer when it was done blooming, but I just didn't have the time because I had a lot of projects going on, and I have a 1-year-old. Regardless, so this should be really hacked down. All these blooms and stalks should be removed so that this yarrow doesn't overtake this flower bed. The second reason is so that when you do clean up your plants and cut up the parts that are dead, like this creeping thyme right here, you're going to notice some weeds, like this one right here. This is a wild viola, and these kind of spread themselves through rhizomes and through seeds as well. And also right here you can see there's this sorrel. So these are things that just kind of blend in, and you can't really see them unless you carefully look at your flower bed. And I really should have been doing a lot more maintenance on this bed, but it just kind of got out of hand and life happens. So that's the second reason. Now the third reason is to make space for either fall planting or spring planting, where you have a clean slate that allows you to just plant whatever you want and whenever you want. And right here you can see that the bed looks full, but I can actually plant a lot more in there, but it appears that way just because all the plants have grown so much, and now I just have a lot of dead foliage and that needs to be taken care of. I'm going to take you with me, and I'm going to show you how I do what I do in here. And hopefully this video will be helpful to you guys. And if you are new here, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can get notified of our new videos whenever we upload. So I got my shears, my gardening scissors, and I don't know what you call this, but I got it. Okay, I also got this giant bowl because right here I have some chives. And these chives should have been cut back earlier so that they could have a second flush of blooms, but I wasn't able to do that. So instead now I'm going to harvest whatever I can from them. There are some yellow leaves and such, but I want to harvest whatever I can from them and also dry them up to use for the winter in cooking, because I just love to use a lot of herbs in my cooking. So to cut I have the wrong tool. To take care of this yarrow, I'm going to use these shears, and I'm going to go down all the way down, and take these stems out and any dead foliage that I see. And I'm going to do this to all of them. And as I'm doing this, I'm trying my best not to cast seeds on the ground, but I know I am. And for the foliage, I'm just going to take it out by hand. I missed some bloom stalks here. You can see that here, you can already see that there's a lot more space for me to plant. And these plants are pretty much done for the fall. They don't have to look extremely pretty. That's okay. I'm not that fussy about that. But now I can see I have some strawberries that have...
Really?
Can you see that right here? That have put run. Can you no in the camera? So you can see right here I have a strawberry that sent out a runner and put itself right here, and I wasn't able to see that if I until I took out the bloom stalks and the dead leaves. So now I'm just going to cut that off like that and clean up anything that needs to be cleaned up. And I also have a weed right here. Okay, so I'm just going to take this, I don't know, trowel, whatever it is. And I'm just gonna...
This thing keeps slipping and doing dizzy stuff.
And I'm going to try my best to take it out. I'm probably going to end up taking a part of the plant with it, just because this weed is very...
Oops. Why isn't this thing locked?
Oh, there we go. I got it out. Okay, great. And you can see, like, there's still a few of the bloom stalks stuff sticking out of the ground. That's okay. That's going to decay in the winter, and I'm not super worried about that. Okay, so you can see right here the sorrel again. I wasn't able to see that because of all the leaves and stuff, and I noticed that this yarrow has sent out a runner or seeded itself here, so I'm just going to take that out because I don't want it to take over the bed. So you can see this first part where it's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm just going to do this to the rest of the bed, and we'll move on to the next step. So these are the strawberry runners. They send off so many runners. I could easily just take these and plant them somewhere else because they are ever-bearing, but I don't have the time for that right now, and they're always going to be producing that. Maybe next year I'll probably do that in the spring or whenever they start producing these, and when I'm ready for that. But for now I'm just going to take them and toss them, put them in the compost pile far away where I probably won't be using that in the vegetable garden anytime soon. So I'm almost done, but you can see how much space we just cleared out just from taking out these bloom stalks and removing the weeds and all that stuff. Also, if I saw any plant that was expanding a little bit further than I would have liked it to, I took that out, and pretty soon, not today because my baby did wake up, I'm going to, and my daughter's taking care of her, but pretty soon I'm going to be transplanting a few plants, just changing their location in the bed, maybe getting rid of them because I did get some of them out of my lawn with, like, the yarrow, for example. it's free. Wasn't the best choice, but I just wanted to fill up the bed quickly and in a cheap way, and I was able to do that and make it look somewhat pretty for this season. Maybe in the future I would probably be getting rid of these plants and replacing them with something that is less invasive and beautiful, but for now this works. So like I said, step one is to remove any of the bloom stalks of the seeds that of the plants that could reseed themselves readily. Now the phlox up there does reseed itself pretty well, but I don't mind that because I want to transplant it into other places in my yard. We have 2 acres over here, and I love phlox. Even though this is the common phlox that gets mildew, what I do is I just put it in the back of the flower bed, and I enjoy the bloom stalks, and if it does get any mildew, powdery mildew, I just don't mind. So it has beautiful bloom, and when it seeds itself, you get all sorts of different varieties of colors, and I just love that. So that's the first step. The first reason why you would want to clean up in the fall. You won't have to do any cleanup in the spring, or maybe minimal cleanup. I would probably have to do a little bit of cleanup, but not nearly as much as I would have right now if I didn't do what I did. I will show you the cart and show you how much stuff I filled up, and I did end up taking some of the creeping thyme that was green, and I'm going to be taking it inside and saving some of it for culinary use. I love thyme, it's just wonderful. Take care of the chive over here and save it also for the winter. Here's the cart. You can see how full it is just from this flower bed alone. That's a lot. That's a lot of foliage, and whether dead or alive. Okay, so let's take care of the chive. Oh, giving me kisses. I love you.
About the huge trees that we have around here. I was talking about the huge trees. Oh, no, sir, anything. There's stuff on your back.
This is what I'm talking about here, where you have weeds that you can't see. You can see right here, this was covered by the chives, and I wasn't able to see this weed, and now it's pretty big. So I'm going to try my best to separate it from the strawberry.
Serenity, no touching.
And try to pull it because I have pulled these up before and was successful.
No touching.
Ooh,
Put it down.
now I'm not.
Serenity.
Okay, so it is kind of tight in here, so I'm just going to take, this is a, I'm going to take my scissor and has a long taproot, but this is an annual weed. I'm not that concerned about it. I'm just going to clean this up a little. So you guys can see how much more space we have now just from taking out all the bloom stalks and all the extra foliage. I have a lot of space to plant now. Oh, don't want to step on the hollyhock. And I'm going to be transplanting some of these yarrows in the future. Now, oops. Like for example, I have this yarrow right here that I really shouldn't have planted over here. It's right next to the hydrangea, and also I have a rose here. The I forgot its name. It's right there. Anyway, so I have a rose here that has been smothered by the chives and by the yarrow. So I might. I do want this rose here, so I'll probably be moving some chives out of here because I also want to plant some heuchera and some salvia in this area. And I have bought some bulbs to plant also in this bed. Not a lot in other areas in the garden. Now when it comes to this rose, I don't want to do anything to this rose right now because we do get pretty low temperatures in the winter, and I don't want any tip dieback on the rose. Now it is still sending a little bit of blooms, but I'm not so concerned about blooms right now. I just want it to be healthy. I have struggled a whole lot with this rose between the bugs and the black spots and all that stuff, and rot, just because we get a lot of rain in here. We have Japanese beetles, and this year it had spider mites because we had a drought in the early spring, which is unusual for us. So I'm not going to touch it right now. I just want it to grow and be healthy. Remember the 3 reasons of why you might want to do your fall cleanup, whether it's in your flower beds or in your vegetable garden. Reason number 1 is you want to stop any plants that reseeds themselves readily from reseeding themselves, so you are going to take off these bloom stalks, and also you might want to clean up some of the dead foliage and stuff like that. Reason number 2 is you want to be able to see the weeds that the plants have covered up because they have been growing all season long, from spring all throughout the summer. And I have found plenty of weeds in my flower bed because the leaves were covering them up. And you would think that weeds don't grow under the coverage of leaves, but that's not the case. I had a lot of weeds in here. And reason number 3 is because you want to have a clean slate to plant new plants, whether you want to do your fall planting or your spring planting. So for me, tomorrow I'll be planting some bulbs that I got at Walmart and Home Depot, and nothing special, but they caught my eye and I just couldn't resist. So I'm going to be planting some of them in this flower bed over here. Hold on. And I'll share with you that. I'll share that with you guys also. So thank you guys. Oh, hold on. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you again next time, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You're going to... Oh, I angered a bumblebee. Okay. Ah. Okay.